Truman Boots in Galloon Navy horse rump. Hey guys, what's going on? I'm Dale of Dale's Leatherworks, and in today's video I am profoundly excited to be talking about this just incredible Grail boot right here. These were sent to me by my buddy Mario of Boot Reaper. Huge thanks to him for getting these into my hands to be able to do a full-blown review on them, and they do deserve it, let me tell you, because this is just one of the most beautiful blue boots I've ever seen in my life. This is going to be in GALLUN'S horse rump, and I actually own a pair myself. So these are my Trumans in cinnamon horse rump, and as you can see, this is some of the gnarliest character I've ever seen in a boot, in a leather, in a horse rump. It's just absolutely bonkers. The honeycombing is out of control. I've been dedicatedly wearing these as much as I possibly can, and I'm just so impressed by these. Truly, this is one of the best leathers Truman has ever run, and that's saying something because I have collected Trumans in almost all their leathers. Rambler is for sure still at the top of my list. Waxed Flesh for sure still at the top of my list. This stuff by Galloon is truly unique, and what makes it so unique is you have different levels of production in a factory, right? You could have a big large-scale factory like Lafargue that's just cranking stuff out. SB Foot is maybe a few steps lower, getting a little bit more into that handmade feel, a little bit more into that boutique-y feel. So you have truly small batch boutique leather, and then you, on the opposite end of the spectrum, you have mass production leather. So I would say Lafargue, like the stuff that Thursday Boots uses, that stuff, it's good leather, it passes as leather, it's full grain, but it has almost like an industrial feel about it, almost like a, like you could tell that not as much care and effort went into the product. They're just sort of cranking this stuff out quickly. Their focus is volume. Whereas Horween is definitely what I would consider a small batch tannery. They take a lot more care, they have their processes down, they're much more meticulous than a tannery like Lafargue. Now, zooming in even smaller is you have a tiny batch tannery like Galloon. To my knowledge, it's only just a handful of guys working over there. That could change, but with Galloon, we're getting super duper small batch. I mean, it's almost like having a personal tailor, right? They're taking each side and putting just a tremendous amount of attention into each one that they process and tan. And so this navy is just wild. It's another example of that. I also have galloon deer skin, same thing, but by far the most striking thing that I've seen come out of this tannery is the horse rump. They're doing something better, in my opinion, probably better than Shinky. So just by looking at this leather, what I could kind of tell, what I think is going on, is I think they took each hide and they shrunk it down as much as they could just to get a really dense, tough, thick, muscular leather. I mean, these are unlined and they just have so much stand up. It's unreal. Let me gauge the thickness. So on the tongue, we've got 7-ounce leather, 7 ounces. That is thick. Your typical Pacific Northwest boot is going to be anywhere between 4.5 and 6 ounces. So 7 ounces is very, very thick leather. Right off the bat, what you're going to see here is we've got an extra inch on these boots here, and that's because these were built custom in the UPLAND model. So that's why you're seeing some more height here. These are still built on the 79 last with a cap toe. So for the most part, these are the same build. We're just adding a little bit of height to the shaft. Soon as I saw Truman running these, I just immediately said, you know what, I got to jump on a pair too. So my pair is being made right now, but the good news is by getting this review out is when I get my navies, I can just start wearing them. I don't have to worry about photographing them in pristine condition and getting them on camera to do a review before I can actually start wearing them. See, that's part of the troubles with being a boot tuber. I can never just throw this stuff on. I have to, sometimes it takes me weeks to finally get to the boots, and then I could start wearing them. Then it's a whole other thing to take into consideration. Well, am I gonna dome these, or am I gonna hold them in the box for a while and sort of bask in their newness? Like, what am I gonna do? So thank you, Mario, because you allowed me to skip that whole process by reviewing your boots instead. One thing that I will say that's kind of interesting, as this leather ages, you can see here the toe on the vamp, the toe creasing. What I'm seeing here is some pigment break, and I've noticed this effect taking place on some of my boots that I apply a lot of waxes to. So this has never happened to me with a leather that was just naturally worn without conditioning. This only happens to me when I really wear into a boot and then I apply a lot of boot wax and conditioners to it, and then you get almost like this saturation of pigments. All that really tells me is that Galloun saturated the living hell out of this leather with waxes, oils, pigments, so that you don't have to for many, many years. You know, one of the biggest questions I get all the time is, oh, what should I use on this boot? Oh, it looks like I need to put something on there. No, just let it ride. Let it ride for years, honestly. Not all leathers need constant care. The only exception to that I will concede is shell cordovan. My garnet boots in shell cordovan, I just wore those recently, and I could tell they need some Venetian. They're starting to look a little lackluster. I think shell cordovan looks much more opulent when you keep it conditioned with Venetian, whereas a leather like this, like, I want it to tell its story, and you're not going to allow it to do that effectively if you inhibit that process with a ton of oils and conditioners that you're going to throw on them. You're going to inhibit that process of seeing the full natural evolution of patina. And so that's why I say, like, especially with something like this, don't condition something like this. Don't take these and wear them 3 times and then start saying, oh, do I need to put stuff on there? No, let them ride for years. The tannery does such a good job at tanning this leather, mummifying it, if you will. It's not going to fall apart on you if you don't condition it. Trust me. I really want to unpack this piece by piece because, I mean, I've done many Truman videos, and this is one of the most impressive pairs I've seen from them by far. So each panel, every panel, sometimes with horse rump you get some smooth areas, like on mine, one of my back heel stay has just some smooth areas, but not on this. On this, the choicest, most prime cuts all throughout everywhere except for the tongue, which is fine. I wouldn't want to waste textured areas on the tongue personally. So the tongue is still going to be horse rump, which is good. That's more material on the visible layers, the cap toe, the vamp, the quarters, the back heel stay, the back heel strip. Just amazing striations. They almost look like lightning strikes, honeycombing, Just wild, just so cool, so much fun to look at. Truly an amazing leather and truly an amazing boot maker. And then this is a first that I have seen. These are built on a Truman branded commando outsole. That is cool, the way it says Truman across the outsole there. On mine, I have Truman Boot Company lug outsoles, and as you can see on this pair, the lugs are sort of recessed in, which is cool. But then on these, the lugs are not recessed. The lugs extend all the way onto the outer perimeter there. Obviously, that branding is super badass. Okay, so Truman just sent out an email about a week ago. They say, at Truman, we've always been driven by a passion for quality and innovation. This drive led us to an important realization to create the perfect boot. We needed to design our own soles. Here's why we embarked on this journey and what makes our heavy lug sole special. The need for a custom solution. Off-the-shelf soles often fall short for our exacting standards. They were designed to fit a wide range of lasts or specific boot styles, which can lead to compromises. Take the Vibram 100. It's built for a Cuban heel or a woodsman heel, a style we're not fond of. Using it meant adjusting our leather stack height and oversizing the heel to achieve a standard shape. We knew we could do better. Our heavy lug sole addresses these issues and more. We've crafted a gentle grade where the lugs begin, creating a smooth transition for the outsole stitcher. This design choice enhances both the end user experience and the manufacturing process. As someone who often operates the stitcher myself, I can attest to the difference this makes. By manufacturing our soles in the USA, we maintain complete control over every aspect of production. We choose the color, density, and materials used, factors that significantly impact the sole's longevity. We've observed how even small changes in composition can affect a sole's performance during finishing and stitching. Our approach ensures consistent quality in every pair of boots we produce. We've incorporated our brand identity into the sole design with the distinctive Truman boot mark. While some might worry about rocks getting caught in the lugs, this is a common concern with any deeply treaded sole. We designed the heavy lug primarily for outdoor use and for off-road adventures. For urban environments, we recommend our Eugene sole, inspired by military specifications, or our Commando sole. The heavy lug sole truly shines when paired with our Upland boot. In fact, the Upland was the primary inspiration behind the heavy lugs development. While this sole might not be suitable for every style, it excels in its intended environment. Yeah, and I think it's just super badass. Well done to the Truman team on another awesome development. I love to see it. You know, they're truly masters of their craft, and they've just come such a long ways, and truly, I think, have become a staple in the boot world. So we've got beautiful, what looks like a golden, a tan or a golden. I'm leaning towards gold stitch on the upper as well as on the Goodyear welt. That is mind-blowing how beautiful that is against that navy. Gold and navy go together so well. And speaking of navy, you might have noticed my jacket. Well, this is the Hiroshi Kato, the Blade 4-way stretch Selvedge denim jacket. Probably the best denim jacket I've ever owned. I'm gonna model and pose it for you right here. This thing is super versatile. We're getting into the fall, and when it's just a little chilly out, you don't need a lot of insulation, you just need an extra layer. This bad boy gets me through the day. I absolutely love it. It's super comfortable. It's really molding to me. It's just super cozy, being that it's not like super rigid. I like a rigid boot. I don't like a rigid jacket, that's for sure. I'm weird like that. I like my arms to be able to move around and flex and blood to flow up here. This allows for all of it. So link to Hiroshi Kato, the Blade jacket, in the description below. What more is there to say? This is just a chef's kiss, just a masterpiece. This is simply the pinnacle of boot perfection here. So with that, I'll shut it down. Thanks so much for watching, guys. What do you guys think about this crazy grain in the leather? Dips, valleys, highs, lows, similar to bison. Here are my Truman boots in cognac shrunken bison, and as you can see, the grain is gnarly. I absolutely love it. I don't always love texture. I don't like reptile skins. I don't like alligator skin. Certain textures I'm just not a fan of, but this type of texture I definitely love. Yeah, the highs, lows, the valleys, the peaks. This isn't a flat leather. This is very much unlike the earth, which is definitely flat. This is a very exciting leather, and I can't say enough good things about it. I think if you're a leather connoisseur, then you owe it to yourself to experience some of this Galloun Tannery magic. So anyways, with that, I'll shut it down. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I'm Dale of Dale's Leatherworks. Don't forget to like and subscribe. That really helps me out. I got a ton more boot content coming up. I'll see y'all in my next video.